Hello, lovelies. Welcome to what is on my sweater? Oh, I don't know. Piece of a leaf or something. Welcome to the book launch stream for the next Pagosa Cliffs book. Oh my goodness. I just got back from the doctor's office. My arm hurts. So anyway, hello. How are you? How is everyone doing today? I see that we have the lovely Rachel here, and we have Jody Jean here. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? Oh goodness. So last month, during the AuthorTube writing under 1,000 subs writing marathon, I don't know what I was thinking, decided, oh yeah, the 17th is a good day. I don't have that much going on this day. I'm just going to drop Red Velvet and Anemones like I have no sense. And then I planned this month to drop the Wild Anemone the day before Valentine's Day, because it literally is today is the day the book starts. The Wild Anemone starts on February 13th. And she's making a delivery to the school of a bunch of cupcakes and a cake. And she is getting ready to head to Las Vegas to take her little niece to visit her sister's grave. So yeah, that is what they were doing. And and this begins a new chapter with a number. Okay. Okay, what I'm doing, this starts a new chapter in Milli's life. And what I'm doing right now is I am putting in the comments, pick a number between 1 and 25 and type RBA for the Red Velvet and Anemones or TWA for the Wild Anemone, to pick where you want the reading done. I'm going to read from both books today because I didn't have a real book launch stream for Red Velvet and Anemones. The dramatic Mara was supposed to be with me today, but I think she might be caught up in traffic. She was on her way back from picking up medications at the doctor's office. And I sent her the link, but I have not seen anything back from her. She had to go she's spent the other night in the ER, and then this morning she went to pick up her medications. And so now she has not shown up yet, and I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me for one moment. Okay, we're fine. Hello, Dee. Hola. How are you doing, sweetheart? Thank you very much. Dee Blair Gold has a lovely channel where she has a lot of tips and tricks and thrifting and all kinds of things. All right. So first thing first is I am going to read the blurb for Red Velvet and Anemones. So the tagline for this book is "Betrayal always offers the choice. Be bitter or become better." After discovering her sister Marni Ann's betrayal, Milli's whole world and all her dreams crumbled like a poorly made cake. Just turned 23, she struggles through the end of the worst 2 years of her post-adoption life. Feeling alone in the world except for her elderly aunt and two best friends, she has to deal with a difficult pregnancy and a harder choice after her divorce. At the urging of her ex-mother-in-law's lawyer, Jean Lasseter, Millie Velvet Haywood leaves her busy life in Las Vegas as a wedding cake artist to protect her newborn niece and unborn child. Millie struggles to adapt to small-town life in the resort community of Pagosa Cliffs, Colorado, after moving in with her century-old great Aunt Elizabeth at the Wild Anemone B&B. However, with new starts comes new challenges. Can Millie move forward and forgive her sister? Can she be better? Or will the bitterness of her life sour her future chances at happiness and love? So that is the beginning of the book of Red Velvet and Anemones. And for the beginning of the Wild Anemone, the tagline is, forgiveness isn't about them. It isn't about forgetting. It's about not carrying the pain of betrayal and anger they left you with. And that's actually said by Aunt Elizabeth in the book. And the blurb for the Wild Anemone is, months after moving to Pagosa Cliffs, Millie Velvet Haywood hopes to open a bakery in her great Aunt Elizabeth's bed and breakfast. The Wild Anemone. Still recovering from her grief and heartache, Millie is trying to move past her sister's betrayal and toward feeling better. She is also falling in love with Deputy Lloyd McConnell, who is struggling after his own betrayal and disastrous divorce. His heart wants Millie, but his bitter outlook makes him push everyone away. Meanwhile, Millie's attempt to return to her old life brings back the monsters of her past and a threat from someone she hoped to never cross paths with again. Will the bitterness of another's life sour her chances at love? Can she escape the monsters and keep baby Emily safe? Betrayal always offers the choice, bitter or better. So yeah, that's where we are. This is my contemporary women's fiction. This is my overcomer fiction. And I really, this is the one, this is a book several times in the whole series. Millie is a trauma survivor. She is her biological mother, Diva Divina Velvet, was violently abusive, alcoholic, drug addict. She brought a pedophile into her home and married him and allowed him to abuse all of her children. And so their relationship was horrendous to begin with and ended very violently. Millie was lucky to survive and escape to be rescued by Dr. Emily Haywood and her husband, Charles. Emily's a pediatrician. Charles is a pediatric psychiatrist. So together they began putting Millie back from the broken child that she was. They began rebuilding her. And so in the book, throughout the whole series, you will see Millie going to therapy, talking to her therapist, getting off the phone with her therapist, waiting for her therapist to come back, because that is something that all trauma survivors, need to accept, that it is okay to go and get therapy. It is okay. And if you have a therapist who is not helping you, by all means, change therapist. Find one that helps you, because sometimes you have to go through 4 or 5 therapists. And that whole message goes through there. And Millie, she shares the things she learns in therapy with some of the people around her, including Lloyd McConnell, who is a deputy sheriff in Pagosa County. And there are some really, really intense scenes just with them being friends and with her forcing him to face the baggage that he is carrying and has been carrying literally since he was an 18-year-old teenager just out of Marine Corps boot camp. And so he doesn't just have PTSD from being in the war zone or from being, in different places where there are hot spots and very stressful situations. He literally has betrayal issues that go back to when he was a teenager. And so he and Milli are two broken souls that are trying to mend each other. And they have so much potential as a couple that I had so much hope for them. All of my early alpha readers had so much hope for them, but yeah, the things. So yeah. And the funny thing is the person who was always against them getting together is TDM, is the Dramatic Mara, and she actually coined the hashtag Lloyd dies alone. And like every chapter when we were posting it on Inkit, when we were first writing it and she was editing it, we were posting it on Inkit every day. She had this running commentary about how much she hated Lloyd, how stupid she thought Lloyd was, how emotionally shriveled Lloyd. She just hates Lloyd. She just hates Lloyd. And Lloyd and Milli love them so much. They're so cute together because he's like this super tall, giant rancher turned soldier, turned police officer. So he's not a small guy. He's a big guy. And Millie's this little tiny, like 5'6" tall little pixie of a baker. And she's just, her nickname is Trollina. And there's two reasons her nickname is Trollina. One is because she can put her hair up and stay in like elastic bands for when she works at the bakery. And when she pulls them out at the end of the shift, her hair will stay standing up from the heat of the bakery. And the other one is that she loves jokes. She loves play jokes and pranks. And so this super like stoic, grumpy, it's definitely a grumpy sunshine dynamic. Even though Milli is broken in a lot of places, she fights for her PMA. She fights for her positive mental attitude. So, there is some good scenes. While you guys, I'm going to go ahead and read a scene from Red Velvet and Anemones from book 1. It's this one. This is Milli's First Cake. It was actually a short story that I wrote as a promotional to go out with a promotional newsletter and on my blog and stuff to promote this book when I first published it. I got it back from my publishing house. And when I was rewriting and reworking, I decided, you know what? This shows you Milli as a child, and I really want to put it in the book. So I went ahead, this scene, and there's actually 2 more scenes that were promotional materials for the other 3 books that I've actually put back in them for the new publishing route. So yeah. And if you look in the links below in the video, Red Velvet and Anemones is actually 99 cents right now. I put it on sale for if they wouldn't let me put it for free because it hadn't been on Amazon long enough. So I dropped it to the lowest price that I could drop it for the release week. So let me present screen, share screen. Boop, boop, boop. Alrighty. Let's see, trying to figure out which I think that's good. That's good. Okay. And if you want to read something, If you will go up to the pinned comment, you'll see just type a number between 1 and 25 and either RVA for Red Velvet and Anemones or TWA for The Wild Anemone. And I will read you an excerpt from that chapter. Let's see. Little Milli Vanilli waved at her friends as she got off the bus, then went up the long white stone path to the Haywood mansion. Her stepsister Marni was taken to dance class by a classmate's mother, so Milli rode the bus alone on the early release day. She let herself in with the key she had never needed to use. Milli stood in the foyer and called out timidly, "Hello?" The maid was gone for the day. The house felt oddly empty and overwhelming. She walked through the mansion and up the grand staircase to put her backpack on her desk in her bedroom. She hung her coat and looked at the clock. It would be at least 2 hours before anyone else came. She had never been alone in the Haywoods' home. My home, Milli corrected herself. Mommy Emily said this is my home now. Her bedroom was bigger than the whole apartment she lived in with Diva and Duran. Milli's tears came unbidden as she thought about the day she took her brother and tried to flee from their mother's abuse. Grieving, Milli sat on her bed weeping because she was alone and couldn't stop the memories of the nightmare her life had been before that day. That day, Duran died and left Milli alone in the world except for their murderous mother. That day, Dr. Emily changed her life and fought Diva for her. 3 months later, Emily and Milli sent Diva to prison for the murder of Milli's siblings and stepfather. Hearing the clock downstairs chime, Milli hurried to the kitchen, hoping it was the back doorbell. But no one was there. "Hello?" Milli cried out, panting in panic. Only the echo of her fear answered in the empty silence of alone. Milli rushed into the pantry and slammed the door. The small space was the same size as the walk-in closet she had slept in for most of her life. It felt safe. The light automatically turned on as Milli sat on the floor, staring up at the fancy fixture with tears running down her face. A minute passed, then another, then many more. She heard the clock chiming the quarter hour in the foyer while she looked from shelf to shelf. She had never seen so much food in one place, except at the corner bodega or the Catholic Charities pantry. Twice a month until her death, Roxy took Milli to help her carry home the food which kept them alive while their mother sold her food stamps for drugs. She remembered Roxy cooking for her and teaching her how to make macaroni and cheese or ramen in the microwave. But Milli was a lot older now, 2 years older. 8 years old, almost a grown-up. Thinking of Roxy's courage, Milli stood up and began touching the boxes and cans and jars. So many kinds of food, more kinds than she ever imagined existed. She wondered what it all tasted like. Milli decided she should cook something for dinner, since the maid was gone. Then she remembered her new father would bring home Italian food from the place with the flaming bananas and ice cream that Marni Ann liked so much. Milli liked the chocolate cake Emily shared with her more than the bananas and ice cream, but she ate it because it was Marnie's favorite. Her new sister tried so hard to share everything she loved, just like Mommy Emily did. Pulling down a box with a picture of a chocolate cake on it, Milli looked at the directions. It seemed simple enough. Add water, oil, and eggs, then bake. Reaching up to turn the knob, Millie decided to be brave. She would bake a cake instead of hiding in the pantry. Mommy Emily and Daddy Charles would be so proud of her for overcoming her panic attack on her own today. Looking around, Millie began getting the things she needed out of the cupboards and the refrigerator, then spent several minutes trying to figure out which knob turned on the oven. Dr. Charles Haywood sped home through the early rush hour traffic of Las Vegas. He scowled at the light, willing it to change, as he was forced to stop. Their adopted daughter Millie was home alone and had been for over an hour, something he and Emily promised she would never be until she was comfortable in their house. Millie had acute PTSD-related anxiety attacks and so many phobias, the result of severe abuse by her violent, drug-addicted biological mother. But the child showed amazing courage when she testified against the woman who birthed her. That trial convicted Diva Divina Velvet of murdering her other children and husband. Millie was lucky to survive the sociopath. He uncharacteristically honked at the slow car in front of him, worried. The maid was off, and both doctors forgot about the early release from school today. Marni Ann had ridden with a friend to dance class, then called to ask if she could take Millie some ice cream after ballet. Realizing their error, Charles canceled his last 2 appointments and rushed home. He parked in the garage and went into the rear foyer before the garage door closed. Inhaling to call out to Millie, he smelled something off. It smelled sweet, like cake, but also bitter, like burnt pancakes. He heard Millie singing in the kitchen to deafeningly loud music. Peeking in around the corner, he was shocked to see his adopted daughter covered from head to toe in flour. The smoke detector was beeping in time with the music while the oven smoked. Kneeling on one of the white bar stools, smeared with something brown, Millie was staring at her tablet, then back at something lumpy and melted looking. Observing her, he realized she was making frosting flowers to go on what he guessed was a cake. Millie, little angel, what are you doing? He closed the oven and tapped the alarm panel to silence the alarm. Then he typed in a code to cancel the alert before the fire department came and turned the music down. Millie blinked rapidly, looking distressed at the mess. It's okay. Don't be upset. What did you make? Charles asked gently. I made a cake, but it isn't finished. Millie's chin trembled. I wanted to make it pretty for Mommy Emily and Marni. The cake was obviously still warm because the frosting roses were melting. Good job. You finish up and I'll tidy up the kitchen, Charles offered. Millie grinned and bounced on her knees excitedly. Do you want a taste? I trimmed the cake just like the video showed. Yes, please. Charles dutifully opened his mouth to accept some of the almost burnt yet partly raw cake trimmings, with a smear of melted frosting. The warm, undercooked cake was disconcertingly crunchy beyond the partly charred part, and Charles coughed as he swallowed because it tasted so wrong. Then he got a drink of water quickly. Don't you like it? Millie stared at him with devastated jade eyes. He couldn't bear to tell the 8-year-old the truth, so he lied like a good dad. Oh, it's wonderful. I missed lunch and am so hungry. I didn't chew it enough before I swallowed. Why don't you clean up and we'll pick up dinner before Mommy and Marnie get home? He tapped her nose affectionately. You have flour on your face. Millie nodded rapidly, sending her dark curls bouncing. I had to oil and flour the pans. It was so hard but fun too. I love baking. I know, and the cake didn't stick, so you did a good job. Now, upstairs with you. Charles praised her, then sent her off to change clothes. He looked at the cake mix box in the trash, then realized he didn't see any eggshells. Picking up the cake trimmings, he found several bits of eggshells. He carefully pushed the knife in the center to create a small hole. It oozed raw batter. Charles rubbed his forehead and called Emily as he wiped the counter around Millie's attempt to make dessert. Hello, love. Millie? Millie's fine. When I got home, she was baking a cake for dessert tonight, Charles explained. She what? Emily sounded startled. She baked a cake from a box mix we had in the pantry. It expired 2 years ago, Charles revealed as he tossed the box in the trash. She put the eggs in it, shells and all, and I think she used your garlic and olive salad oil on the pan, or at least that's what it tastes like. Charles groaned as Emily burst out laughing. She tried. That sweet angel, Emily insisted. Yes, she did, but the cake. I can't let any of you eat it. It's horrible, Charles bemoaned, certain Millie wouldn't hear. No, Emmy, I can't tell her the cake is bad. She worked so hard, and even looking up how to make frosting and frosting flowers online. Oh, love, Millie is such a sweet little angel, and I'm so glad we adopted her. He listened and apologized. I'm sorry, but I have to get rid of the cake. It will poison us all. She will be upset when she gets home, Charles revealed to his wife. Millie is very smart and practical. Drop it while putting it in the refrigerator. Beg her forgiveness, and then offer to help her make another one. I'll make sure Marnie and I are late picking up dinner so she can still surprise us, Emily insisted, then added, I have to go. My next patient is here. I love you, Charles. Take care of her. Good idea. I love you and I will. Charles hung up, then looked at the lopsided, burnt and raw mess with its melted, separating buttercream frosting. He sighed and muttered, Forgive me, Millie. Then he picked up the cake and dropped it on the floor in front of the refrigerator. The plate shattered as the still raw center spattered everywhere. Hearing the crash, Millie ran into the kitchen. Oh, my cake! Mind the glass! He stopped her before she could come too close. Kneeling, Charles looked at her with true regret as he lied about the accident. I'm so sorry, Millie. I was going to put it in the refrigerator until dinner. I dropped it. Please forgive me. Hugging his neck, Millie nodded. It's okay, Daddy Charles. Standing up with her in his arms, he looked at her clean face and clothes, then carried her to the kitchen door. Get your jacket on while I clean up the mess, and we'll get stuff for another cake from the store and bake it before Mommy and Marnie return. Quick, like a bunny. Hurry. He set her feet on the hallway marble. She ran up to her room and grabbed her coat and came back, pulling his hand toward the garage. Hurry, Daddy. We can clean up while the new cake bakes. In the car, Charles drove them to the grocery store. Millie's eyes were filled with tears, but she blinked them back. Her heart was so full it felt like it would burst. He didn't know she overheard him on the phone or knew why he risked her being angry with him because he wanted to protect her from getting sick from her mistake. She made a terrible, ugly cake, but Charles had eaten some and lied that he loved it because he loved her. Milli looked out the window and wiped away a tear. Not a sad tear, but the joyful tear of a little girl who finally knew unconditional love from a parent. So yeah, that's the end of the prologue, is Milli's first cake. And honestly, Milli's so adorable in that one. She's just like, she wanted so much. She wanted so much to overcome the panic attack by herself and to share the cake. And it was so adorable. I needed that scene to be in the new book. I needed it to be in the republish. Let's see. We had Shannon came in. Hello, sweetheart. Thank you. Editing my next podcast episode coming out. Oh, Evan Gao. Nice. From Story Origin. Will he be in the AWC this year? Shannon says she's listening it into the background while editing. Thank you for staying to listen. Hello, Dawn. Hello, lovely. Dawn is the co-writer with Rachel D. Adams for the Dragon Tasker series. Yes, please check that out. Oh, he didn't submit for the AWC this time. Okay. He's got, if anyone here is interested, if you go to the AWC playlist, he is in some of the past AWCs, Author Tube Writing Conference that will be happening this year at the end of June. Yeah, it's always good. Lots of good resources, lots of information for indie authors, and more than happy to share it with everyone. Let's see. There it is. I knew that I had the website. There's the link. Boop. Yeah, he's presented every year for the last 3 or so. Yeah. Lots of good information. Thank you very much. There's the link to the Author Tube Writing Conference website. There is a bunch of information. There are also links to all of the archive playlists, so please be sure to check that out. I am one of the mods with the mostest on there because I try to help with the mods as much as I can, help them be the best mods they can be. Because there's a lot more to modding than bashing the box. Hold on, I just got a message from the child. Alrighty, let's see if I can get her onboarded. TDM, hello! Yes. So all I've done is talk about Milli's personality. I've read the blurbs for both books. I'm doing Red Velvet and Anemones and the Wild Anemone because I didn't do a launch for Red Velvet and Anemones. Like the really bad marketer I am.
It's okay. Sorry.
And
yeah. I was doing laundry and we got the cone boy.
Oh, is he back from the vet? Oh, poor boy.
He's back from the vet. I think I might have to get him a donut because his ears are too big for the cone.
Oh, sweet.
I'm sorry for being late, but
yeah,
poor baby.
Yeah, we're sidetracked talking about the AWC. I read Milli's first cake snippet.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Be responsible pet owners. Spay and neuter your pets.
Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, he is definitely
the cone of shame.
He's got the cone of shame. I'm really considering getting him like one of them donuts just because his poor ears. He hasn't laid in my lap the entire evening. He's just been like, he'll like half sit on the arm of the couch and then he'll like sit his head in the cone. It's like, no, baby. He's gonna have it on for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you might be getting a donut. Well, you remember that when we did Agent Mayhem.
Yeah, Agent Mayhem also lived in the cone of shame.
He ate 4 cones in a row.
Oh my god, 4 cones?
Yeah, we bought 4 different cones and finally just gave up. We put a neck thing on him,
Buddy?
and he managed to chew that. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to chew a hole in it and then get it off. So yeah, it was craziness.
Lord.
Yeah,
I knew he was eating through cones. I didn't know it was that bad.
yeah, and he weaponized his cone. He would purposely put his face onto the coffee table or lift up and put his face on the table or counter, the kitchen table or counter, and sweep his head and knock everything off the counter with his cone.
Oh man. Yeah, do you mind if I show the picture?
Don't show the picture.
No, of the dog donuts.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so it looks, oh no. Please.
It's not gonna, it's too, oh, there we go, yeah. Oh, that's cute. A donut printed dog donut. That's
donut
adorable.
for the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if my camera's gonna refocus.
Yeah. We have a new puppy, but he's purebred German Shepherd, and we were thinking of breeding him out. I grew up breeding German Shepherds. So that's nice, yeah.
I was thinking about letting Gizmo have his little man bits, but the poor boy is not built for them.
No.
His body is not built for them, and he was just in pain.
Yeah, he chafes when he walks.
Oh, babe, you're gonna have to put a diaper on him.
Man bits when he walks. So the dangles, the dangle bobbles had to go away. So yeah.
You gotta put the diaper of punishment on him. Wherever you put them.
Yeah, the diapers. Yeah, I ended up doing that with Kohaku.
Oh, he had to wear the diapers.
Had to wear sports shorts.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we talked a little bit earlier about without giving too much away about how hard I tried to ship Milli and Lloyd and how hard you tried to tear them apart with the hashtag Lloyd dies alone.
Oh yeah, I definitely tried to ruin that ship as a sale.
Yeah, so tell us why you hate Lloyd.
So
you and Mitch share your hatred of Lloyd. Mitch is the husband of Millie's best friend Jackson. Mitch is a fun character because he grew up inside the Valtini Mafia. His father is the driver for Don Valtini. And he's married to Millie's best friend Jackson, who is a fellow baker like Milli, and Jackson is like almost 7 feet tall. So Jackson is super tall and thin, and Mitch is short and stocky, and his nickname is the Bulldog. Yeah. And he's super protective of Milli. And Sarah and Mitch share their hatred of Lloyd.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Toes.
Sorry, dog chaos. I just sent you a picture of Bubby with his diaper on. He is mad.
You can't lick toes.
But yeah, so me and Mitch, it's just like Lloyd does these things, and he's just like so persistent, and it's just like take the hint, just walk away. You're a cop. She's not gonna do it. Just walk away. Yeah, this is the boy not liking his little diaper. I felt bad. I felt having to put it on him. He's also got a little poop hole in the back.
No hole, not a poop hole.
He doesn't have a tail, so it's a poop hole.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
I'm sorry for interrupting the stream with mayhem of the Frenchie.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. So, but Lloyd just won't take the hint. He won't take the hint to just be like, just not interested. But I can appreciate his just his go to like he's like, I want her to be mine. I want her to want me like I want her, and it's just like, it's like, oh, that's sweet. She doesn't care.
No, she cares. She
cares, but she's just like, let the town have their gossip, but I'm just not gonna do that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that also is through the series is you discover that, like all small towns, Pagosa has a problem with gossip, and the ex Mrs. Lloyd McConnell, Tanya Ballard, she is a gossip queen, and for the first 2 books, she targets all of her malevolence at Milli because she is sure that Milli has come to take Lloyd away from her, just because Millie's nice enough to like bake Lloyd his favorite treats. And the things plus the things. And it's just like, yeah.
It's like, get over yourself.
And Milli actually, there's a fun scene at the end of book 1 where Milli just plays the jealous ex blow-off game. And she's like, please let me torture your ex-wife. I can't get revenge on the people who betrayed me, but I can help you get revenge on the people who betrayed you. And I want revenge by proxy.
Revenge by proxy is definitely good. I agree.
Hello, Jules. Hello, Hi. And Rita is here. Hello, Rita. How are you? Okay. So if you go to the link at the top, pick a number between 1 and 25 and either type in RBA for Red Velvet and Anemones or TWA for the Wild Anemone, and I will read the next snippet for you guys. Yeah, revenge is always a great motivator, and even when you're trying to not be bitter and to get better, there is still this like sense of like satisfying sense of helping someone else get revenge when you can't get revenge for yourself. So yeah.
I don't know if it comes from like, I don't know if it's like the opposite of like the sacrificial lamb complex where you're like, if the bad things happen to me, I won't have to watch the people I care about go through the bad things. And it's like, if I can't get revenge on the person who I hate, I can't. Oh, the newest photo from the poor woman.
The way he's on the pillow. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's pretty set on his pillow. A picture of Gizmo sitting on the pillow.
It's like he's cushioning his surgery space.
Oh,
I'm crying.
Oh God, can I move the laptop enough? He is fighting. He's fighting so hard. I think I'm going to be doing an Amazon trip to see if I can get one of them bodysuits for him to wear. So he's not as uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm breathing. Okay, we've got some numbers. 17 and TWA. Okay, let me pull up the Wild Anemone. And we are going to chapter 17. Oh, okay then. Okay then. Okay, this is a good chapter. This is a good chapter. Excellent suggestion. Thank you, Jules. Alrighty. Share the screen. All right. The Wild Anemone, Chapter 17, September 14th, Las Vegas. Senior Detective Bill Harper came in looking perturbed. Supervising an interview of some random person Katie found was not how he wanted to spend his last hour on duty today. Okay, Katie, who is this young woman and what did she see? Katie scowled at him, snapping. She says she was forced to take care of a crime scene and came here from where she lives out of state to talk to you specifically. Milli shook with silent laughter, trying to keep still. Her head was still bowed with the hoodie hiding who she was. Bill must have thought she was shaking in fear because his voice softened. Don't be afraid, miss. Just tell us what you saw. Look at me. You can trust me. It's my job to protect people who witness criminal activity. Katie squeezed her hand. Milli shuddered again, then lifted her head, and jade eyes looked across the table at him, shining with mischief. Well, detective, the only criminal activity I've seen is everyone wants to eat your retirement cape, and you keep putting it off to do paperwork. That's cruel and unusual punishment. Torture, really. Milli snickered at his shocked expression as Katie guffawed. They could hear Dan and several others laughing from the observation room. Milli jumped up and hugged the detective who saved her. Happy retirement, Detective Harper. Bill laughed off his surprise as Katie led them back to the conference room, where dozens gathered to sing Happy Retirement to You to the tune of Happy Birthday. After many pictures, Jackson held out Milli's red chef jacket, and they both served the cake. More officers came in as the evening shift change happened. By 8 p.m., they were out of cake and cleaning up the mess. Bill draped his arm over Milli's shoulder and side-hugged her, pressing a fatherly kiss to her temple. You know I don't retire for a few more weeks. Yeah, but you would be expecting a party then, and we have already had to move making this cake twice because you put off your last day, Milli answered, grinning at him. Now you can't make any more excuses not to come visit your god-granddaughter. Where is my little princess? Bill asked curiously. I left Emily with friends since I only came for tonight, tomorrow, and maybe the next day. But I know she would be happy to see you if you came to Colorado after retirement. Please, Uncle Bill. Milli practically was begging him to come visit. She wanted him to see her bakery and be proud over how the broken child he rescued was doing better than the statistics said she should be. I would love to visit. He smiled down at her with tears in his eyes. We're all cleaned up, Dad, Jackson interrupted. I have to meet Mitch. Do you want to come? Milli shook her head. I'm tired. I'm going to get a room and go to sleep. Nonsense, Bill insisted. Take my house key. You know which room is yours. Thanks, Uncle Bill. It's been a long day. Milli grinned gratefully before making her way back to her van, ready to face whatever surprise Marni planned for her. Half an hour later, Milli parked her bakery van next to Bill's boat and let herself in the back door. Going upstairs to the guest room and dropping her bag on the bed, she took a shower and went to sleep, feeling happy and safe in the Harpers' home. The next morning, she was awake at 4 a.m. She laid in bed for an hour before she crept to the kitchen to make coffee. There were still 4 hours before she had to be at the bank to meet with their manager about Marni's safe deposit box. Lost in thought, she watched the coffee drip into the pot. Okay, that was number 17. Woot woot. Eat some retirement. Yeah, Milli made this huge, like in the previous chapter, describes this cake as like a 4-foot by 3-foot or 3-foot sheet cake that's a crime scene with like marks of his cases and stuff like that. And Bill's favorite flavor, as you'll learn this in the very first book, Bill's favorite flavor is a flavor called black velvet, which is an espresso and dark chocolate velvet cake. Usually made with a cappuccino flavored ice cream and a caramel drizzle.
It's my dream flavor.
Yeah, it's also Grandpa Ben's favorite cake. The black velvet is also Grandpa Ben's favorite cake. So yes, that recipe is actually in both of these books, along with my great Aunt Dora's red velvet recipe. Funny thing about my grandmother Nora and her twin sister Dora is Grandma Nora could make the best pies you've ever eaten. Her crust were perfect, flaky, beautiful crust. Great Aunt Dora could make any flavor of cake, like if you just describe a cake, she could make that cake perfectly. Funny fact, my grandpa, he was a cake guy. He loved cake. My great uncle Bishop, he was a pie guy. He loved pie. They loved each other. They both stayed married until death, both couples. But Grandma and Aunt Dora would bake desserts for the other's husbands because that's what they liked.
Oh, poor.
Yeah, and my grandfather did that thing where he cut the middle out of the cake and stole the middle of the cake and then fixed the frosting. He did that more than once. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but no, the black velvet cake recipe, is in the back of both of these books. So you have a red velvet cake recipe and the black velvet cake recipe. And honestly, Grandpa Ben and Grandma Doreen are kind of based on my grandparents. So on both sets of grandparents, you kind of put them together and you get the personalities. But yeah, so yeah, I loved writing the old people in this book, especially Great Aunt Elizabeth. I want to be Great Aunt Elizabeth when I turn 100.
You are going to be Great Aunt Elizabeth.
I am going to be Great Aunt Elizabeth.
Tell my kids some wild stories and be like, guess what Omi told us? And I'm going to be like, oh no. Please don't stick firecrackers down anthills. Please don't put a piece of twine on one cow's hoof and shove it over the tippet. I know, because I've done that. Please don't do the funny, idiotic things. Your Omi keeps telling you because I've done the funny, idiotic things. I did get kicked once.
See, this sounds really good.
Red velvet cake with cheesecake. Oh wow!
Well, see, the way there's two ways to do this.
That's the thing. Is it a baked cheesecake or a cold cheesecake?
Okay, there's 3 ways to do that.
Okay, never mind.
One is you bake the cake. You put the batter in. You put the red velvet batter down first, you put the cheesecake batter down first, and you put the red velvet batter on top. Because of the density of the batters, the cheesecake batter is heavier than the red velvet batter. If you put the cheesecake batter on top, it goes in, and you have to cook the cake at a higher temperature and then turn it down to the cheesecake temperature, because you have to set the bottom cake at 425 degrees and the cheesecake at 350. But that's just FYI. The other way to make it, the easier way to make it, is whether or not you are using cold cheesecake mix or baked cheesecake mix, is you bake the red velvet cake, you put it in the bottom of the cheesecake pan. You put the cheesecake mix on top, and if you're baking it, you want to put it in a water bath so that it does not continue to bake the red velvet cake. The water bath will help the cheesecake cook but it will also keep you from baking the red velvet cake to death. So yeah, FYI. Okay. Yeah, it was all in one batter, and I threw a bunch of stuff in. Oh, well, that sounds good. Didn't use any mixes. It was from scratch. That sounds really good.
That is really good.
Red velvet and cheesecake go really, really well together. But yeah, no, it's so much fun. I love and Sarah loved when I was writing this book because I had to bake all the recipes so that I could properly describe them, and the family was very happy.
I'm currently harassing the father of why he didn't call me when your stream started. Like, why did you let me know? And he's like, I thought you were in already.
Okay, you were literally talking to us like 20 minutes before we got home. I made carne asada burritos, pork and beef.
I'm gonna go get my chicken nuggets and warmed up.
Burritos for dinner, and then I came and started the stream. I just figured you got caught in traffic because traffic at Virginia Beach traffic sucks.
No, Virginia traffic sucks. Let's not get that wrong. Virginia traffic. Makes me miss the I-25 corridor somehow.
Yeah. All right. So Rita selected the Wild Anemone at chapter 13.
That's actually a few pages before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my chicken nuggets.
Yeah, go eat your sad chicken nuggets.
Hey, come on, Giz. Don't try and wipe your diaper off.
This is the one where we're talking about Molly's cake.
Oh, okay.
Which Sarah also got to eat. Although I did not. Okay, they're one of the side fillings they use on this is sabotaged, which is a Mayan-based liqueur. It is fermented honey, citrus, and anise, and other spices, floral spices, and so it's like a spicy citrus licorice flavor that's got like it's this very florally flavor with the licorice as the deep tone in it, and then the fermented honey and these floral and spices in it. It is a very interesting flavor. Mixing it with like a citrus flavored cake is actually they mix this liqueur with honey and condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, to make a glaze to go over a citrus cake, and it's this very, the flavors balance very well for a citrus cake. But if you do not like licorice, you will not like the combination, because the anise gives it a very strong black licorice flavor. So, and the recipe for this, I think the golden velvet recipe is actually in the next book. So I will start reading about this. Late June, Pagosa Cliffs. Chapter 13, The Wild Anemone. Molly Ballard came to talk about her wedding cake with Milli. Per usual, Milli prepared samples of 9 cakes and filling combinations, with 3 styles sketched according to what Molly described she wanted. Oh, I'm wrong. This is a different chapter. The cake chapter comes later.
It's okay.
This is the baseball chapter. One of the baseball chapters.
I thought it was something else, so
they were halfway through the consultation when Molly's text message chimed. After a profanity-laden rant, she called Camille to meet her at the Wild Anemone bakery. The coach arrived 10 minutes later with her girls. While Camille, Wallace, and Molly talked at a table, Gracie and Willow tasted another plate of sliced cake each. The Wallace girls were devouring the sample cakes for Molly's wedding consultation and making notes. Oh my God, Willow, taste this one. Gracie shoved a fork of chocolate velvet cake with raspberry mousse filling into her sibling's mouth. Willow groaned in happiness, deliberately smooshing it around in her mouth before taking a big swallow of milk. Good. So good. But this one's better. It's truffle. Gracie sliced a bite of the cake from from Willow's plate with her fork. They both chewed slowly, tipping their heads in identical thoughtfulness before scribbling on a note card. They put the chocolate truffle alongside a white velvet with strawberry with white chocolate ganache. It was their choice group. The chocolate velvet with raspberry mousse accompanied the white velvet and cherry cream, and the white velvet with plain white chocolate ganache in the rejected group. As they pulled up another plate, they eyed and sniffed the slice before each forked a bite into their mouth. They held all the intensity of any professional judge Millie had ever baked for, and she tried not to laugh at the 13-year-old cousin's antics. But the little giggle which slipped from her mouth caught their attention, and they looked at her with similar displeasure. Unable to control her laughter any more, she carried a hot water carafe, tea bags, and coffee carafe, and scarlet bakery mugs over to where Camille and Molly sat in discouraged conversation. Molly glanced at her gratefully before continuing. It won't work. She flinches if the ball comes anywhere near her. That's why I have her on the outfield for only 2 innings. Camille sat back and groaned, rubbing her forehead. Well, that's it then. We don't have a shortstop. Everyone else I'm not afraid will break a hip is either already playing or doesn't know how. Do you need someone for your to play on your softball team? Millie asked, now more interested. She was already baking cupcakes to sell at the charity game organized for building a new battered women's shelter to help the non-local women get a new start. It's Tanya. She was supposed to be our shortstop, but she claims she tripped while cleaning house. She sprained her wrist trying to catch herself and can't play. Molly complained, as if that's what happened. Camille and Millie looked at her oddly, but she didn't elaborate. Well, if someone can play shortstop, I can play catcher. I still have all my equipment, Millie chimed in hesitantly. Molly and Camille exchanged glances before Molly blurted out, Do you play? Camille slapped her arm. She said she has her own equipment. Did you play in a league in Vegas? Millie smirked. In high school, I lettered in fast pitch. I played catcher both years we went to state, and then a little after on an intramural team. Molly looked skeptical. You're not very tall. How's your hitting? Molly, that's rude, Camille chided, raising her eyebrows. What? I want to beat Lloyd at least once before I died. The 2 competitive women glared at each other. Millie laughed. Watch Emily while I go get Sheila, she declared in an amused tone, walking out of the back door. Who's Sheila? Molly asked, looking confused. Camille only shrugged in return. Minutes later, Millie came back with an equipment bag and something which looked like a soft rifle case, but shorter. Laying it on the table, Millie unzipped it to reveal a beautiful, deep scarlet metal bat. Meet Sheila. My dad had her specially made for me. She's MLB regulation and can sing. I get a hit every time I swing her. Not that I have to swing much to get on base. Camille looked confused. How do you get on base if you don't swing? Grinning, Millie crouched in a batting stance. I still hold the record for highest on-base percentage per time at bat at the high school level for Nevada. Molly threw back her head and laughed wickedly. Oh, spit on my forehead and polish me good. Even Lloyd won't be able to hit your strike box. Camille looked even more confused until Molly held her hand in a rectangle in front of where Millie crouched. My cousin is accurate, but not this accurate. Dang, girl, can I throw to you a few times? Molly begged as Camille still looked confused, trying to grasp Millie's words. Smugly, Millie explained. Basically, I can't be struck out. 4 balls and I'm on base every time. One more time, Millie swings the bat, and Molly claps, thrilled. Before gathering the bag and making their way outside. Girls, keep an eye on baby Emily and come get us if anyone comes in. Camille's eyes were suddenly bright with excitement. Then she followed Millie and Molly out the back.
I love that. This is like one of my favorite chapters.
Yeah. What is coming up, this part coming
This
up
is
where
the best part, the best chapter in the book, hands down. There's nothing better.
where Millie tortures Lloyd while he's pitching for the men's team.
Watching a man's ego crumble into a ball is perfect. I love it. I needed it.
Basically, Independence Day in Pagosa Cliffs, they have a community baseball game. The women's auxiliary versus the men's league. And Millie playing catcher. Oh, she tortures Lloyd. She tortures Lloyd so much.
It's so good. It's such a good chapter. It's a baller chapter, if I might say myself.
You just like the part where she asked him why he can't keep his balls up and if he needs little blue pills.
Yes, I do like that part. No, you cannot have my chicken nuggets. I'm being stared at. Gizmo's jumped up here a couple times.
Oh, poor Gizmo.
Jumped up here with this cone head. Haha, cone head.
Okay. All right, we have been going for an hour.
We got time still.
Yeah. Let's see. And Laura. Laura already went live. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I am going to copy the link. I'm going to drop the link in for Laura's stream. If you are looking for sprinting or anything like that, please check out the AuthorTuber sheets. Where is it? Why is this not pulling up? Oh my goodness. I hate it when I update something and suddenly I cannot find it. Okay.
No. There's no more chicken nuggets on my plate. You're wearing the diaper of shame. Oh.
All right.
He's squaring up. Little man is squaring up with me right now. Yeah. Poor thing. Ow! Okay, I get it. He took out my toes.
Okay, this is the link for the AuthorTuber tiny URL link for the AuthorTube writing and AuthorTuber and writing sheets playlist. It has a list for several days in the future that gives times in multiple time zones for all of the productivity sprints and stuff that are going on. Please check that out and enjoy it. We are done for the day. If you have not seen, checked out Red Velvet and Anemones, it is on sale through the weekend for 99 cents because they wouldn't let me put it on free for the launch day, and they won't let me sell the Wild Anemone at a discount. So when some anemones are blue, launches on March 17th, I will have the Wild Anemone on for 99 cents. So yeah, putting up the sales because we need to stretch our monies right now because everything sucks. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming up. Thank you very much. I am glad you know it. All this cake talk. Yes. So much cake. It is a bakery, and I believe in describing all of the amazing cake flavors to everyone all of the time because yes. And recipes are included in both books. So if you want my great Aunt Dora's red velvet cake recipe, it is in the book. And also the black velvet recipe that is a dark chocolate and espresso velvet cake with cappuccino icing that I made up, I guess, years ago. I don't even remember. I made it up in the 90s because my bestie likes Aunt Jennifer. It was before Ashley was born.
That's
How old
30
is your
years old
sister?
by now.
How old is your sister?
26?
26.
26. She'll be 27 this year.
So 28 years ago. Almost 30 years. You're right. Almost 30 years ago I made up this recipe. Okay, then.
Bye.
Yeah. So let me outro video. And thank you so much for joining us for this stream today. I hope that you have a very lovely weekend. Be blessed, and we'll see you.
Bye.